Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com. It is Monday. It's March 28th. This will be our chart listing for the day, and it's going to be pretty quick today. Not much to talk about. I'm guessing that most of your market movers were still on vacation today over the Easter holiday. There's not much going on. Not much volume. We had enough movement where there's some few trades in here, but you got to be real careful when it's real slow and low volume. Um, Again, there's just not much going on. I would classify this as a range day, although there's no real clear low area versus real clear high area either. We had a trend down and then a trend up, and by the time 2 o'clock got here, it was sideways again. So, um, real easy. I mean, like I said, not much to talk about today. I saw a spike in channel down. I wasn't 100% sure if maybe there wasn't going to be another trend line up here, but it just never came into play. So notice that we had the spike and the channel down. We had a break, a new low. Then we have a channel going up. Um, we had an overshoot here, which generally leads to a correction or a reversal, and you can see that's what happened. We never really made a new high, but a lot of times when you get an overshoot like this, especially when the bigger picture is kind of sideways, you don't always get a retest. So you can see we attempted to get one, but it was so late it didn't matter. Once we started going higher, um, there was no real reason to try to enter anyway. So again, this is going to be real short, not much to talk about today. But the first trade I saw, I mean, there wasn't really even a trade till 8 o'clock. I think this trade's right in there around 8:32. You can see that that bar ended at 8:32.11. There's a short there, and that's a failed second entry long. Notice the push move down, first entry, pull back, second entry, and you had a nice little bullish bar there, and it fails. But notice how we got through the EMA pullback and test it. Normally, I'd want a better signal bar there, but the fact that it's a trap, it doesn't matter with the signal bar, and it was a pretty nice trade. That's really the only thing that there was going before almost 9 o'clock. So if you didn't get here before regular open, you probably had to sit here quite a while, and then there just weren't many trades. But we started going sideways here. There's a second entry short here. It's right off that trend line, so I liked it. Uh, Notice the new low, pull back first entry, pull back second entry. Big bearish bar. It's fairly large, and there's not much room here, so you might have let it break lower and dropped the limit order, and you could have gotten filled all the way back up to here. It worked no matter whether you entered on the stop or not. At this point, you don't really, it doesn't really look like we're going strongly sideways. So, I don't really have a problem entering that with a stop. Although you got to be a little bit leery because there's not much room between there and there. So, uh, I wouldn't, if you used a limit order, it's probably the smarter move, and it would have got you out a little quicker, but you would have got out of this trade either way. So whether you used just a sell stop one tick below, or if you tried to get a little better entry. So, and then of course we bounce, you get a break here, move to a new high, um, and there's a second entry short right there. Notice this new low, pull back first entry, pull back second entry. So that's a second entry short. Although your signal bar is not very nice, it's not very bearish there. I don't like that signal bar. But there's another reason to like this trade is notice this trading range is running sideways. This is a failed break higher on top of that. And but I like this bar. When it broke below this bar, just drop a limit order back where you would have originally got filled, or maybe even a tick or so back, and you would have gotten filled a tick or two back into that bar and had another nice move down. And that's two. If you just caught those two trades, you would have caught a runner and, caught several points off both of them. So even on slow days, a lot of times you don't have to necessarily catch a lot of trades. You catch one or two. And this one coming up is the same thing. Notice that we had our break here now, moved to a new low, and look how we shot up through the EMA and then two legs back. This is a second entry long. Um, You wouldn't have had a trend line or anything here, but I just like this, trying to catch it back to the EMA and hoping that we're going to move higher. Um, this is real close to being green, but it's a higher low. It's a second entry long. It's a reversal type bar. You got this big bearish bar. That's going to trap some people, and you can see how quick it snaps back. That big bullish bar. That usually happens because people are trapped to the wrong side when the shorts start exiting. So, and if you caught that one, you could have ridden this all the way up till you got a break right in here. And or I probably would have, once we broke higher here and started to turn down, I probably exited here and definitely here if I wouldn't wait for it to come back that far. Um, I'd look for a new entry. But this was a great setup. Again, it's real borderline being green, but I like it for blue for the reasons. And there's actually some support right across there, so it's like a failed break lower. Uh, it's really more along there, and you can see that little double bottom across there. It's like a little failed break lower, and so that gives you another reason to like entering there. Um, and that's the reason I like it for being blue. If it wasn't for the failed break below that little double bottom, I'd probably say this was green. I'd say it's a little more aggressive. But then you get move up, and you get two legs back and another bounce, a big bullish bar. It bounces right off the trend line. This is really where your stop has to go below this. This is your true signal bar, but this is close enough that I think you're okay just to put a stop right there. But your safety stop has to go below that bar right there. And this is almost a repeat pattern. Look at it. It looks very similar to this move up and a little pullback, and then this move up and a little pullback. Uh, it's almost a repeat type pattern. That little break lower bounces right off the trend line, but it also confirms that trend line off those first two swings. Just go long there, and you could have had this trend line in here by now too. Even you would have known the angle because you would have drawn it off those first two and pulled it down, and you would have had the angle there, and it bounces perfectly. It actually pulls back and gives you another opportunity to enter here. It's just so high into that resistance, and that goes all the way back across. I don't like that one. I mean, you could probably argue for an aggressive entry there, but I'm not even going to mark it green. I just think you're better off to skip it. Yeah, it works, but that's seeing it hindsight after the fact. When you're looking at the far right side of the screen, it looks like that. Look at all that resistance across there. That's not a good place to enter. You can see that it does work out, but when you're looking at it like I said, on the hard right side of the chart, and you don't know that it's going to do that, it's you're taking a chance. So, um, but then you also have a short-term channel working up there, and then you get a break, and notice how it tries to go lower 3 times there. That's that double test of the EMA. We tested it once, and then a little double test rule. And look at all the stems under there. Everything's closing back up near the highs. I like that for a long. There's a second entry long right there, and you actually could have entered there, but I think you're better off to wait to see if you get that trap and that double test, because we should be headed back down to this trend line, especially with the overshoot. And if you draw that trend line, you can see it right there, and that's the first break. And then, but I like it here because you've tested that EMA twice, and you got a nice bearish reversal bar again there. It actually turns back and goes up again and gives you a failed second entry short. And so technically, if you didn't enter there, you could enter on this next one. I really should. It breaks lower first and goes right out the other side. I wouldn't enter here back this close on this other one, but this is a failed second entry short here. Notice the new low, pull back first entry, pull back second entry. Let me move these out of the way just so you can see it. And so you do get a failed second entry short there, and that trap will generally push it on higher. So I do like that one as well. And then that was it for the day. I mean, that's all you had all day long. And I don't know if I would add on to this one, but if you weren't in yet, I wouldn't. I'd probably risk entering here. So, um, but I don't think I would add on to that one. I don't like it enough to add on, but I like it because by the time you get here, you're getting back really close to that high. But it's kind of that repeat pattern. It kind of happened once, twice, and then a third time here. Notice the little failed break lower. So, and then we start working down. We did overshoot here, so it's tempting right here when it broke higher and turned down because there is room to get out before the EMA. So I guess I would say that I'm willing to give that one a green circle. It's a little aggressive because we don't have a break of this trend line yet, and it looks like things are kind of picking up. But when you overshot it twice here and you get that break higher and turn down and that far away from the EMA, you know you're probably coming back here, but you're probably going to come back to here, and it looks like you might get a setup to the long side, but notice how it never triggers, and it just keeps getting going down. And that pretty much got you into the 2 o'clock hour, so nothing else to talk about. So really there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 regular trades that set up today and a couple of green ones. So even counting the aggressive trades, I see about 8 decent trades today, and that's it. So you're gonna have days like this. It feels really slow right now, and today probably was slow. But I would also say that even though it feels slow lately, it's probably more normal because we just had such high volatility for such a long time there. We got spoiled probably, and you probably got used to that faster market. Um, so if it doesn't pick up soon, we may think about adjusting our chart slightly just to see. Hate to talk about that because that's going to generate 50 million questions from all the new people that will say, why are you using this chart versus that chart? Um, so we'll see about that. But at this point, I'm not ready to say it's time to change charts yet because this could pick up tomorrow. I mean, this could just be an extended day to the holiday, which I'm thinking that's probably got something to do with it. Plus, it's springtime. A lot of people are on, schools are out for spring break. Like a week ago, my kids were out for spring break, so I took a few days off, and so that's going on right now as well. So keep that in mind, and that could have something to do with it too. So, but there's no sense in beating around the bush today. Just not much else to talk about. So I'm going to wrap it up for the day. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.